Welcome everyone to Allá. My name is Arya, I'm here with Ash.
Hello.
And we're gonna have a tour of the land and introduce you to the beautiful space that we're creating. Our purpose here is evolving a sanctuary, a healing sanctuary for syntropic living, essentially inspiring new waves of social enterprise creation. And let's show you what that means, what that looks like. Ash bought this land a few years back, is the instigator of this project.
Yes.
Thank you for the success and starting to create the space, inviting me and many others into this project. And yeah, I want to invite you to introduce us to this land and also particularly this Syntropic fields, which we started planting this year.
True. Yeah, well, first of all, let's get situated a bit. We are on Ometepe Island on the Madeira side. Ometepe is an island that has the shape of infinity. It's made with two volcanoes. There's an active one that is called Conception. It's a little bit higher than its counterpart, which is Madeiras. It's an inactive volcano. If you hike to the top, there is a lagoon. Allá is closer to Madeiras, the inactive volcano. In fact, right now it's very foggy, we cannot see it so well, but it's basically in our backyard. We are among the very last few purchasable lands, super close to the biological reserve. I believe that's how they call it. So yeah, a little bit above, you're not even allowed to build buildings or cut trees or do anything that humans like to do. So this is one of the very last patch where we can do agriculture, and the idea is very much to do things quite differently here. So yeah, this is the first Syntropic field. I guess from many videos we're like a little bit from above around the kitchen and we look down on it. Now we're kind of looking up. The volcano is progressing towards that way. So we have 5.5 or let's say 6 Syntropic lines with their biomass counterpart. Check. And every of those 2 pairs of lines is spaced out with a 2-meter row where we can do some more bit conventional agriculture, all organic of course, but like, rice, beans, corn, a lot of that stuff, some spice, some squashes, things. And that's going to be the case for the first few years. We're looking at least 4 years before the food forest really outgrows and it becomes too shady. So the first few years, yeah, that's basically where we've been enjoying our corn as well every day for a couple of weeks now, eating corn from the land and stuff. So yeah, let's go inside.
So we have our living fence that we're crossing besides this door. We have a living fence here. We're growing some pitaya along this first living fence. You'll see these logs. These cactus are amazing. They'll just grow. You put them on a log, they'll grow. They start to fruit this very delicious fruit.
Yeah, those are a recent find. Those pitaya. They are a little bit different than most pitaya you see other places in Nicaragua. The locals, they call this one like a extranjera. It's the one that has like the very big pitaya, the dragon fruit. A counter example, and we see it in the structure, is we have an indigenous one right here. You see how much thinner it is, very different structure. Also give fruits, but like much smaller. Still very nice though. Yeah. So the idea is to grow this variety a bit more and really get like even more species in the fence. Yeah, we have a very insistent mentor here that has been coaching us for a while and really always hammering like value your margins. Like there's no reason for space that are a bit like, let's say, borders or space that are harder to build or things. It's no reason to do nothing with it. It's just you have to reinvent a little bit to be a bit unconventional sometimes. So valuing the fence and having fence fruiting in a couple of years is the idea for that.
Yeah, and we have that going all along as we enter here. we have this living fence here as well, but in between we've started to plant some nopal. It's another edible cactus, and we'll be continuing to plant more of a edible living fence even along the edge of this food forest will also be edible. And in many of the videos that I've been starting to put out, I talk about this idea of syntropic living. And I think this is really giving an example of what it's like to live, where you walk into the space and you're entering a food forest. And this is the home that we live in. Our home is a food forest. And it's a very, I think, important example of what Earth is and what it could be for many people that have potentially lost that connection.
Yes, yeah. Abundance.
Keep walking in and starting to see how this space takes shape with the food forest really as a center point in the design of the lands. First thing that you see, and as time goes on, more and more of the nutrition of the lands coming right from this space and a couple other spaces that we're building here. Planting seeds. What else can we say? We can introduce some of the plants here. So we got some papaya, moringa, banana, plantain.
What do we have here? Yeah, we're trying to identify what's been eating some of our trees a little bit. We've got some coffee here.
Gotta be careful actually here. I just stepped in it. I wasn't looking. This is a nature reserve for turtles. We've got a family of turtles that live in here.
There's one here. Yeah.
There's one.
It's a little bit timid, but let's see. Hello. Hey.
Hello.
This is her. Yeah, head is there. Hello. Yeah, at night there is quite many of them that come here. It's a full house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6. Yeah. Very nice.
So even though we just started to plant and many of these fruits will take many years to grow, already there's edible foods in the landscape. This chai is an excellent source of nutrition. It's an edible green. It must be cooked. And we got our corn that we planted maybe 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, right behind here, this is yucca. It's planted 2 months ago. Still need a bit more time. Hey, Nala!
Hey! Got Nala's back. She was playing with her sister. Back on the farm now. Hello, Nala. Hello. Here we're entering the beginning of Zone 1. So this is the entrance to Allá. We have a Kalala trellis that is starting to become populated with vines.
Finally
Here. And our community kitchen. There's a lot of edible foods growing here too. This is where cucumbers are just starting to develop, and tomatoes, and many other plants here. This area here is our Zone 1, so this is where a lot of day-to-day activity is happening right now. Community kitchen is somewhat the heart of the space at the moment.
snake in the tree right there.
We've got a beautiful snake in the tree, pretty harmless.
Yeah. Yeah, non-venomous, it's an arborescent snake. They're very rapid. Wow. Serpiente en el árbol, un verde aquí. Mira.
Ya, cuidado.
Yeah.
This is a lemon tree that was on the lands when we got here.
Yeah. One of the only fruit tree that we eventually discovered. Yeah, this year we've been gifting it a little bit of cow shit, but it's not been super generous. Maybe we're looking at it's still very good, like maybe 100 lemon or something. I guess it comes and goes just like many fruit tree, but yeah, last year we harvested maybe 250, 300 lemon out of it. It was crazy. Yeah, we'll see how it grows in the future. Have a quick look at Inai's mural, just finished. Inai's Google from Germany. Yeah, it was finished maybe a month ago. Really beautiful art. on the northern wall of the house.
This community kitchen, it means a lot to me. I really love to bring people together, especially with nutrition. It's one of the many ways that I find people, when we nourish our body together, it creates more resilient communities. So yeah, we built this space with wood that had fallen on the land. It's really cool to see a transformation process happening. And this is the newest space that we're bringing online. It's still in the end of the construction process. We're getting our electricity set up this week, so we're still tidying up the space, but we can fit a lot of people here on this table. As we were building this space, we realized, wait, there's all this landscape was all overgrown up until basically a few weeks ago, and we've started to clear it more. We built an herb spiral here that's starting slowly to propagate. We've got some more herbs in the nursery, we'll show you at the end. Some chilies in the grounds, we'll see how well they do. Cucumbers that are doing pretty nicely. I have to check in every day. Here, let me show you an example. The most difficult thing so far has been these ladybugs. Unfortunately, one ladybug can do a lot of damage to our cucumbers. So I'm going to need to transform these ladybugs.
Transform? Yeah, let's
into
transform them. Yeah.
Even one ladybug, if I left it on for a day, it could eat the whole cucumber.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
So a lot of experiments, figuring out how to grow in the tropics, 100% organic. Finding these principles of Syntropic where there's so much biomass and how we can use that as a good thing. Instead of thinking about competition, we think about also the ways that plants cooperate and share information and nutrients, and there's a symbiosis. So a lot of these plants, when we do, for example, bananas, we start to think, well, how can we also grow more cooperative plants with bananas? So between them we've started to plant moringa. Those moringas will add more growth hormones, which makes the system more resilient and productive at the end of the day. So we do a lot of interesting experiments with how we can look at the natural world, see the Syntropic where a forest becomes more orderly over time, basically all on its own, and how finding our unity and our connection with the ecosystem, that we can naturally create more order over time because we are the forest. We are really in symbiosis and in a union with the forest. And living here makes it quite easier to realize that. Anything else to say about Zone 1?
Yeah, this is our new little Syntropic field. The idea is to definitely increase, like, there's so much stuff that we realize we like in terms of like épices, fines herbes, like really like in more interesting plants, chili stuff, squashes, things. We ended up as well making a bit more coffee here, more papaya, building to like a bigger production of some stuff. Yeah, really beautiful here. I'm very happy about this new section, and it's such a good soil. It's really impressive to, like, I've experienced other parts of the world as a farmer, and there is quite something here with volcanic soil. It's incredible. And yeah, just the maize, for example, it's like even many of the Nikas who, like, they do agriculture here for generation, and like we plant that, and they're like, oh, we need to throw fertilizer and things, and I'm like, no. Many of this land here was forest before. The soil is so dark, so rich, we have to be very mindful, not to deplete it, to really, protect it. That's also why we are mulching so heavily. This is a good example. Those are new lines, but we do our very best to really protect the ground, because the rays of the sun, if the soil is really open and the ray can directly get to it, it breaks the nutrients. But by mulching heavily and repeatedly every month, creating new mulch, we really always protect the nutrients, protect the soil, make sure that the mycelium network can run through, create a lot of nutrient, insect life and all of it. And we're having an incredible result with the fertility level without any artificial fertilizer. So it's really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought us this part, because what I've come to realize how much being involved with creating syntropic agroforestry is influencing my life, and how my whole perspective is changing from seeing this process day to day. When I go and I drink my coffee in the morning and I'm seeing how the plants are growing, and right next to our zone 1, we're completely surrounding ourselves with future food forest. And again, I think that's something very important, that everyone can have that opportunity, that the earth can be reforested, and even wild spaces can be transformed to be even more productive, and that human life can come and regenerate spaces that are already thriving when we have that kind of mindful and principled approach.
Yeah.
So let's go up, let's see one of the houses that's under construction right now, and a couple more houses that we're just starting to build. Introduce you to a few different building methods. We're doing a bunch of experimentation, so we don't have one particular way, like this is the right way. So I'll introduce 3 different types of building methods that we're starting to experiment with here. Very different approaches, all working together in the same land. Yeah, welcome to the first rad pad. This is the first real house that Asher brother Gabriel started to build here last year. It's about half built. I think you were involved in that process.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I cannot take too much credit. Really, I'm not a metal wielder. I did bring most of the material here on my shoulder, or some of it with horses. We have no road that leads to the land, which is a big blessing. Roads are the number 1 leading factor in deforestation, so it's good not to have that. And our presence here makes sure that there's never ever going to be a road that goes as high as here. It's very much the intent and the intent of our neighbor, thank God. But yeah, we did this experiment. In fact, it's kind of the second house here. It's discussable if we really can call the place down there a house. It's more of a tool storage. I happen to sleep in a hammock inside of it for now. But yeah, this, could be, one could argue this is the first house technically. And it's an ever-evolving prototypes of, So RadPad is the technology, was a construction company that started in Nicaragua a couple of years ago. And they did like many different prototypes. The unit down there is actually like the first really like on-site building construction that happened. And so this is kind of a new step towards a new direction. This model is, originally it's kind of a cubical, kind of metal beams, 3 meters by 3 meters by 3 meters. This design is a little bit different. It's wall-based, so kind of, you have more flexibility in designing the space. So eventually the blocks end up being 4 meters by 3, a little bit more spacious. And we're still kind of debating what this is going to be. Lately, the vision has been shifting towards probably like a familial unit. So like you know, master bedroom on one side, probably this side, open and central kitchen that's going to be here, and another unit with like a couple beds for like children's. It's pretty much the vision. This might change. And yeah, we are in the tropic, and while building the first unit down there, we really made what we feel is like a significant discovery. The rad pad down there is also built like that. There is kind of a double roof system, which I think it's not to be underestimated. It's quite an intelligent design. The intent down there was to have, we mentioned, you know, while visiting the kitchen that some trees were fallen. We did build like some of the tables, some of the new community kitchen furniture from wood that was naturally fallen. And the idea down there was to build like a space between the inner roof and the outer roof to dry wood for a bit. And while doing that, we really discovered that when we have this double roof system, we're in the tropic. The heat sometimes is like dry season here, sometimes it's barely bearable. But when you have this system, the sun hits the first roof and you're in the shade inside, and if there is good wind flow, it's incredible without any electricity, without any fans or AC, how well you can feel. It's really a type of building that we really don't see in Nicaragua, and I think many people would gain from that insight, because it's not that much expensive and it really brings up like immense quality of life. So this one is also designed with this double roof system. A keen observer would see that the inner roof is not finished even on that first unit, so there's still a little bit of work to be done, and then creating this open area, closing this. Yeah, it's a project that we plan on tackling around November or December this year.
Yeah, and so you'll see from this site, it's a process that started. It took a few weeks to get the frame going, and construction's kind of paused since then. But Gabriel was able to build most of this within a few weeks. And the idea is that it's going to last a very, very long time, but it's not natural. It's with galvanized steel. It was coming from places that we don't know where, probably heavily mined, so there are impacts of the choices that we make for our materials. So we'll show you some other projects that we're working on, and basically experimenting with different technologies to see this equation of things that will last a very long time but might have a short-term impact, and the other way around, and things that might last less time but have a potentially positive impact. So all different kinds of equations that we're working out and figuring, what are different ways that we can build and be accountable for the impact that we have on the planet. So the idea here is that we've built something that's going to last a very long time, although it's not a natural building that, has some externalities, some things that outside of this land, there may be people that are having a negative effect from what we're doing. So how can we have a positive effect that reaches them too, is kind of the curiosity and how we can balance this equation. In the next phases of our building, we are working towards having 99% circular materials in our construction. Let's introduce two of those projects. Welcome to stage of our future yoga shala. this is another very important space to, yeah, really create the community glue, a space where people can come and healing and dance and celebrating life. So this will be another natural building project. Palm leaves, wood floor, everything sourced from the islands, besides things like screws. So that's where the 99% circular comes in. Yeah, ideally within the next few months we'll have this built, but still figuring out exactly where we're gonna source and what our plan is.
And speaking of figuring out, you know, Arye, you were talking yesterday, you were having this realization about like, also your new project, it's the next spot where we're going, is very much using the same technique on a smaller scale than the Yogashala project. So it makes sense to acquire a bit more of a technical understanding of what we're doing. You know, natural palm roof, potentially like a wooden floor that supports dance, pillars, natural pillars. So all of those elements you find in your house project over there. So let's go check it out.
Let's check it out. Hey, welcome to the space. When I first was invited to Masaya, I was gifted space to build a house. And things have gone full circle, where now this space to build a house is chosen. This is where I am building a house. And yeah, the system is now clear. It's going to be a natural house with palm roofs, very simple wood platform, some bamboo structure, and yeah, I'll take videos along the way so you can see that building process. But we've just started now to clear the land. Chosen the spot approximately. It's going to be here where I'm standing. And yeah, 6 meter by 4 meter wood platform with a palm roof. My goal is to build it in a month or two, ideally less than a month. I think I can do it. I've never built a house before. What do I know? Let's see. Let's see what the next few months have in store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
Yeah. We'll go down through the Allá. I think. I don't know if that thing.
So, at some point, imagine if this were a natural pool, a very small pool,
Closing here.
little hot tub.
Yeah, bringing some warm rocks from the fire. Psh, psh, psh. Isn't that nice?
A little wall here. Could be. Could be. And there's a nursery that Ash has been also leading the builds.
Yeah, side project was like, yeah, it was part of really reinventing Zone 1. We used to have the plant nursery quite next to the building area up there, very like, yeah, the space was crossing with the community kitchen, and wanted to make some more space, also grow a bit the size of the operation. So it's been a beautiful adventure to transform that, and really allows for like more momentum with seeds. And yeah, we've got a very nice little operation here. I'm quite pleased about that. Many of the plants that, yeah, exactly what you're looking at right now, like will probably go soon in the plant spiral. We have some different types of basil, some oregano, a lot of stuff. Yeah, butterfly pea here. We want to do. We were mentioning like the living fence at the entrance. The idea is also to have like a lot of flowers, a lot of beauty. So I'm also, yeah, multiplying some of those plants as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on Ometepe and you need plants, come by. True. Check out the nursery. Where are we?
This is the new Adobe or new clubhouse location. Very much in the beginning stage of foundation work and things. It's basically, yeah, we really started going at it Monday. So yeah, we have like one day under the belt of really pushing a little bit more vegetation back. We already cleared a week or two ago, but really like making it a construction site, starting to figure out a bit where the walls are going to be. Nothing is really level right now. Those little threads here represents the inner wall of the house. It's going to be a 3x5 house, and this is the southern wall, northern wall right there. So the entrance is going to be here. The northern wall is basically going to be a full wall with some Adobe art inside. It's going to have windows on both sides, east and west, for natural lighting and as well for some form of natural airflow. The walls themselves are going to have a thickness, this is a cob, so it's pretty thick walls, around 30 centimeters of dirt material. And yeah, we're doing a foundation with stone and Adobe foundation. So really glad to do this experiment of like doing a whole foundation without concrete, and we know it's possible. We have like knowledge of very old Adobe structure, not even protected from rain, lasting like even on Ometepe we can find like a 17 years old one, Adobe structure, exposed to rain, still standing. So with a natural roof, natural palm roof over that structure protecting the foundation, this is gonna last for a very long time. Some challenge of building on a volcano is definitely like the slope of the land is very like, so definitely it's gonna take a lot of rock to eventually get something stable enough, high enough. The foundation is going to be like a minimum of 80 centimeters of stone, but definitely some parts are going to be much more stone heavy, probably a meter 20, meter 30 centimeters, so quite a lot of stone, but we have a good amount on the land. Yeah, so that's the project, very much again in the beginning phase. Really exciting to have some footage to look back into. Well, this is done. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this house is located right next to where the future, the next Syntropic agroforestry project is going to be, on that side of the quebrada. So this is an even bigger field than the one we planted this rainy season. So yeah, it's the next challenge, and we're starting little by little to prepare to clean. It's incredible the speed at which the jungle reclaims anything. This was an agricultural field. They were doing like monocrop when I bought it. They were doing frijoles here, like beans, red beans, in monoculture. And it's been just 2 years, and yeah, we machete cleared a lot, but it's many small trees and stuff. It is, it's impressive how hard it is to reclaim it back, you know. And as we do, we're very like heavily mulching, really not letting the sun touch or look at the ground. A lot of leaves, a lot of branch to really create an additional layer of biomass for us to really protect the ground and keep it very fertile. And yeah, so far we've been planting a little bit as well, some sugar canes, a lot of turmeric over there, a bit more yucca. Those are three basically, well, 2 roots plants, so they're not showing that much, and the caña as well as the sugar cane is buried right now, so it doesn't look like much, but that's the thing. Yeah, a very good superficie that is waiting for us. The property goes basically to the higher tree lines, and we also have a much bigger project awaiting us over there, which a little bit over there is what we've also identified as the best view for Conception, the other volcano, provided that we can like raise a little bit, like have a foundation that maybe has a 2 stories level. We have like a big balcony. The view is quite breathtaking. This is where Ari and I have been envisioning what we call our innovation temple. But it's a future project that will keep you in the loop when we advance more towards it. Might be a few years from now, who knows?
Yeah, so welcome to Allá. It's August 2024, really just the beginning. And you're introduced to some parts of the space. There's a lot that you're not seeing. So come out here, get involved, see the whole space. There's more opportunity to grow, for you to come and share your vision, to plant seeds, to see them grow, more fields to be planted. And if there's anything that I want to communicate through this, it's a not knowing. It's a mystery of what we're creating. Even though there are some things that you see, we're building an adobe house. There's a lot of things we don't know about building adobe houses. So there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of figuring things out, and opportunities for more people to come, get involved, share your gifts. What else can we say as we're closing this tour and inviting people that feel a resonance to come explore. Planning a Syntropic Living Art Expo at the end of this year.
True.
Ash, what else can we say? Closing thought.
Yeah, it's good to speak a bit about that. Yeah, we are definitely in the intention of weaving many things into the space. You know, there's a reason as well where we do music every day in the morning, weaving hearts, weaving spirituality, even weaving science in a sense with, collaborations is part of the vision here. So I'm glad you bring this up. In December, we have a Syntropic Living Art exposition here. It's going to be a very intricate blending of dance, performance art, visual arts. We aim to make something quite special, quite humbly as well. It's a first edition, so the goal is very much to create something unique and create some media content, some proof that we've done it, and eventually scale the whole thing to make a yearly artistic event that is going to be quite out there on the Ometepe scene. That's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So there's that coming up, and there's going to be more events that we'll be organizing as the spaces come online.
Do you feel like touching a bit on the leadership meeting,
The Leadership Summit?
the leadership summit?
Yeah, there's an idea that we have as well of creating a what I call a regenerative leadership summit. A lot of what I want to demonstrate here is what's possible beyond convention. And I know that there are more people like me who see what's possible and want to be on the front lines of creating more regenerative ways of living, of working, of also investing our time and our money. And so there's more leaders in the regenerative finance space that I've been connecting with, and I want to invite those people that want to play a leadership role in this kind of regenerative renaissance to come get involved. We'll have an event around the spring of 2025 is the idea at the moment. So yeah, if you have ideas as well, I welcome you to reach out to me. If there are events that you want to come to organize here, we're also welcoming people to collaborate, to come and bring your community to see what's possible, beyond convention. There's something quite magical and mysterious. And there are things that we don't know, that we're figuring out, and you're invited. Come get involved. Thanks for watching this first version of the tour. I trust there will be more versions of future tours coming.
Yeah. I hope.